Did you ever author something called a continuum of aggression and abuse?
Yes, I did.
And what is that?
The continuum of aggression and abuse is a way to look at domestic violence and aggression that can also occur in otherwise healthy families, isolated acts of aggression. And it looks at a range of behavior and a range of responses, and then looks at some exacerbating factors that can play into these cases. It's so that we don't look at domestic violence in kind of a one-dimensional way, but look at a real range.
Given everything that you have reviewed, that you've read in this case, that you've seen, do you have an opinion, an ultimate opinion in your expertise about whether or not Ms. Arias was in an abusive relationship?
Yes, I believe she was in an abusive relationship.
And do you believe, in your expert opinion, that Jodi was a battered woman, or is a battered woman?
Yes, I do.
I want to ask you why. Why do you say that Jodi is a battered woman?
Certainly putting down friends and family. There's some destruction of property, but it seems minimal at this point. A change in the victim's personality. You see threats of, definitely threats of abandonment.
And where are you looking? I see you're looking up at the...
I'm looking at abuse and battering.
Okay, between abuse and a battering?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm looking at character assassination, because character assassination, and I don't even think I have it up there, do I?
But I see that under abuse you have name calling, but not character assassination, right?
Yeah.
And then character assassination, you've told us earlier, is worse.
Yes.
And
So
more
I would
severe.
put character assassination in more high-end battering relationship.
Okay, a high-end battering relationship?
Yes, and you've got, for a period of time with Ms. Arias, you've got the monopolization of perception, where she tends to see the world through his eyes as opposed to her own. And you see manipulation. I mean, I don't have everything up there.
Ma'am, you reviewed the Reagan-Housley instant message involving her and Mr. Alexander, correct?
Correct.
Isn't it true that Mr. Alexander was extremely afraid of the defendant, Jodi Arias, based on her stalking behavior?
He said...
No, please don't tell me what he said. Just answer my question.
He was afraid of her, yes.
Because of her stalking behavior, correct?
Correct.
And ma'am, if we take a look at this exhibit 614, if we're talking about aggression and abuse, if Mr. Alexander is afraid of the defendant, extremely afraid of the defendant because of her stalking behavior, then we've moved over to this column here that talks about stalking, correct?
You're mischaracterizing my continuum, Mr. Martinez.
I'm not asking you to tell me about the continuum. Isn't it true that stalking is mentioned under terrorism in your continuum of aggression and abuse? Yes or no?
Stalking, that is...
Yes or no?
It's not yes or no, Mr. Martinez.
Do you see these letters here?
It's not a yes or no answer, Mr. Martinez.
I'm asking you. Do you see this word here that I'm pointing to? Yes or no?
I see that word.
Is that word stalking? Yes or no?
That word has a definition, and you are not using it. You're not using the definition that I apply in this continuum. So if you want me to talk about what stalking means,
Judge,
I will talk about it.
Not responsive.
Sustained. Next question.
Take a look at Exhibit 558. And you say that stalking appears elsewhere. Let's take a look under battering, even though we can't read that real well. Do you see stalking anywhere underneath that column? Yes or no?
No, I don't. I discuss it.
Ma'am, then with regard to the column, you see that? It says abuse. Do you see any stalking underneath there?
Mr. Martinez?
Yes or no?
Mr. Martinez?
Yes or no?
I discuss
Yes or no?
stalking in
Yes.
both of those areas.
Judge, non-responsive.
Sustained.
Yes or no? Do you see stalking under abuse?
I don't believe that's a yes or no answer, Mr. Martinez.
I'm not asking you
I
what
know,
you
but
believe.
do you want the truth of this, or
Yes,
do you want?
I want you to answer the truthfully and take a
I
look.
can't answer it truthfully with yes or no. That's what I'm saying to you. I would like to be able to answer it truthfully.
Ma'am, what is this word up here?
Abuse,
What is this phrase underneath there?
sporadic physical aggression,
And the phrase underneath that is what?
name calling but not character assassination,
And underneath that is what?
verbal abuse but not psychological abuse,
And underneath that is what?
may be remorseful, is it
And underneath that, what does that read?
threats of abandonment,
And underneath that,
aggression takes place without witnesses.
anywhere there, do you see the word stalking, yes or no?
I do not see the word stalking.
We go over to the left under high conflict. Do you see the word stalking anywhere there?
High conflict is not domestic violence, Mr. Martinez.
I'm not asking you what high conflict is, am I, ma'am? Do you see the word stalking there?
It was never there.
The answer is no then, correct?
Correct.
Then if we go over to battering, you see that?
Yes, I do.
Do you see the word stalking anywhere in that column? Yes or no?
No.
The only place that the word stalking appears is under the column terrorism, correct?
Correct, and I define it.